Hello and welcome. This is Politics Today on Channels Television. I'm Sheung Okin Baloye. On the program today, our focus will majorly be on the Ekiti governorship election. In less than 2 weeks, the people of Ekiti State will go to the polls to elect their governor. Meanwhile, politicians are busy combing the length and breadth of the state in the last days of campaigns. On Saturday, President Goodluck Jonathan led leaders of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to Ekiti, where they showed their support for the party's candidate and the former governor, Chief Ayofayoshe. Supporters of the party turned out en masse to the venue of the PDP mega rally. The president then assured adequate security for the process, and here is what is said at that particular rally.
I promise the good people of Ekiti State and federal government is to make sure that we provide security. Don't be afraid that there will be talk. There will be no talkery. We'll make sure that everybody casts his vote. One man, one vote. One woman, one vote. One youth, one vote. Anybody who brings stocks to Ekiti State is bringing that to his own detriment, because there will be no room for that. We will make sure that there will be enough security for you to perform your constitutional responsibilities. PDP!
Well, that was President Goodluck Jonathan at the PDP mega rally in Ado-Ekiti on Saturday. But today, it was a tragedy when one person died after violence ensued in capital Ado-Ekiti. APC supporters were said to have taken to the streets in a form of campaign until some gunshots were heard by residents and smoke from police tear gas filled the air. Well, on the program tonight, we shall be looking at some of these issues. We will try to establish link with the Commissioner of Police in Ekiti State and also speak with the Governor of Ekiti State on the incident of today. The morning, hundreds of excited APC supporters took to the streets of Ado-Ekiti, the capital of Ekiti State. The Ejibo area of the capital was agog with drumming, political chants and campaign songs as the jubilant supporters with brooms in their hands danced and marched through the streets. But it appears their excitement has only but a slender body. Soon enough, it was interrupted. Smoke, obviously from police tear gas, could be seen. Some residents say they heard gunshots for several minutes. The jubilant supporters could not manage singing and scampering at the same time as they run for their life. The armed security operatives appear through the haze of smoke. And the aftermath of the skirmish leaves behind damaged vehicles and sadly a lifeless body. And furious governor could only demonstrate his outrage as he makes for his vehicle.
You have killed somebody here. Who are you defending? Whose interest are you protecting? You are going to cause trouble in this country.
With the governorship election in the state just few days away, this event could only call to question the preparedness of security operatives to secure the lives of the citizens and suppress any possible violence. Sheung Okin, Channels Television News. Well, that was the situation earlier on Sunday when supporters of the APC took to the street. Well, on the program today, as the people of the state look forward to the election come the 21st of June 2014, we'll take a critical look at the issues and controversies surrounding the polls. What makes the Ekiti election important? And from the past elections, what should be done to make sure the process is free, fair, and peaceful? And to help give a sense to these issues, I have two analysts who are going to be analyzing these issues. But first, we take a short break, and when we return, we'll be talking more, dissecting these issues. Stay with us on Politics Today. Thank you for staying with us here on Politics Today. I told you earlier that we are going to be staying on the Ekiti governorship election and we'll be giving you perspectives on the issue. I have joining me in the studio here Dr. Abiola Akiode-Afolabi, the Executive Director, Women Advocates Research and Documentation Center. Thank you for joining me on the program tonight. And later on, we shall be having Mr. Ezenwa Uwagu. He's a coordinator of an election monitoring group that will be joining me from our Abuja studio. Well, let me give you an idea of what the situation is as facts and figures in the Ekiti governorship election before we go into the heart of the matter tonight. Well, there are 16 local government council in the state, and there are about 2,803 polling units in that particular state, where the election is going to happen on the 21st of June 2014. Well, the state is located in the southwestern part of the country, and it has about 6,000 square kilometers with a population of about 2.3 million people. Well, some of the key, the top local council by population we have here is, one of it is Ekiti West. In terms of population, these are some of the areas politicians and strategies will be looking at for in this particular vote. Well, let me come to my guest, and with what we have on ground Ekiti and with the past governorship elections that we have seen in the country, so far, what is your take on the preparation so far?
Well, I am aware that recently INEC has been doing a lot of voter education around the state, and I'm also aware there are some other civil society organizations that are on ground that are also talking to people about the need to have an election that is free, that is fair, that is also peaceful. But I'm very worried and disturbed over some of the happenings, particularly in recent time in the states. I think the politicians are eating up the polity, and that's very dangerous for the coming election, because what you will see with that kind of thing is that people will become very afraid. They would not want to come out to vote because they are afraid of their lives because of some of the violence that they've been seeing before the election. So I think that's a major challenge for any successful election. And be that as it may, it is important for people to go out to vote, because election is an accountability tool. It's the only tool that we have to determine, as Nigerian citizens, what will happen to our future. So it's important for people to come out to vote. So there's a need for us to begin to talk to politicians that they are key stakeholders in the election, and it's important for them to tune down the rhetorics.
What we saw on Sunday from the pictures that we have, the violence that we saw, one person dead now. What's your take from the previous elections that we've seen in Ekiti State?
Well, Ekiti has always been very, very tough. If you look at the history of the state, in the last 8-9 years, there has been, between the period of the then fireship period and Fayemi period, we had about 4, 5, 6 different, people had ruled the state at different times. For some people, one of the speakers ruled only for 1 day. Some people ruled for 40 days. Some for 79 days. And thereabout, which shows that there seems to be a lot of instability, not until recently in the state. And given what we have presently, one begins to fear what's likely to happen in the coming period, and I think that's the worry. If you look at the way we have some people on ground in Ekiti State who are also monitoring the manifestation of electoral violence and the dimension. And from the report that we have from them, this can be categorized into 4 places. There are terror being unleashed against the people, and that's oftentimes when people go for campaign and they're coming back, you see, like what we saw just now, shootings, tear gas here and there, oppositions fighting themselves and all that. Then there's also another one within political party. There seems to be a lot of crossing from one party to another. Even within their party, they are not also, in some of the parties, they are not happy with the candidate that they are fielding for governorship. So there's also tension within the political party itself. So you see a situation whereby you get people within the party, dissenting voices, attacking themselves. We see people using talks against themselves, even within their political party. Of course, the other major one is the opposition parties, whereby we see a lot of fighting between Party A and Party B and Party C when they meet at rallies and all that. And we also see a lot of defacing of posters, some of the things that we know that there is a lot of tension between the political parties within the state. And the fourth one is the one that is being fueled by the security forces. And I think what we saw this morning is also that dimension of security forces, creating fear. And also, we saw somebody was killed this morning. I don't think that this is good for an election that is coming up in 2 weeks' time.
Interesting. Well, we'll talk more. But in Ekiti State, there are about 23 political parties, out of which in this very election, 18 of those political parties have come out to field candidates. But there are 3 major contenders in this very election. We take a look at some of these contenders. 3 of them, the major party, the APC, Labour Party, and the PDP. I was in Ekiti State, and I had the opportunity of speaking with some of these candidates. Let's start alphabetically. First with the All Progressives Congress candidate and the incumbent governor, Dr. Akiode-Afolabi. I started by asking him about his performance and what he looks forward to give as he goes into these campaigns.